Hi everybody, this is Scott Sharp with Fretboard Toolbox, and today we're going to mess around with the key of C major and work on some improvising ideas over some free jam tracks. We'll look at the C major pentatonic, the C major scale, and then a little 3-note scale that you can get started with, and we'll play each one of those scales over the jam tracks and hopefully give you some cool ideas. Let's get started and I'll show you how it works. So to get to the free jam tracks today, you're going to go to Tracks and Tab, 200 free jam tracks, and scroll to the key of C major. And these are the tracks we'll be messing around with. And then we'll be using a Fretboard Toolbox Complete Mandolin book. And the Complete Mandolin books have all of the chords and the scale notes for the keys of all the major keys, all the relative minor, and all the blues keys. So today we're going to use the key of C major, and these are the chords, the main chords that are going to make up the chord progressions. And then what you want to focus on for the soloing today is all the notes in white boxes going across are your major scale notes. So the notes of major scale are in the columns 1 through 7. So it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Then when we play the major pentatonic, that's just all the same notes except you get rid of the 4th note and the 7th note. So those are underlined in my books. So C, D, E, skip the F, G, A, skip the B. And then these are 2 little bluesy notes. We'll ignore those today, but they're super cool, and I'll have other videos showing how those work. So here's the chord progressions that are on the free jam tracks. And then here's the layout of the fretboard. So remember, everything in white boxes is your major scale notes, and everything that is underlined are major pentatonic notes. And you can see those notes over here too. So everything in white boxes is major scale, everything underlined is major pentatonic. And what you really want to focus on for improvising is the notes that make up a chord. So when I play over a C major chord, the best notes to hit are going to be C, E, and G, and then I can use other notes in white boxes to move around. And so the little 3-note scale I was talking about is just playing the 1, 2, and 3 notes, like do, re, mi. And so notice that those are in white boxes and they're underlined because they're part of both scales. So let's put on just a plain C major track, and I'll show you first the C, D, E, just the 1, 2, 3, then I'll play the major pentatonic, the underlined notes, and then I'll play the whole major scale, and we'll just mess around with those and see what we can do. And so this layout here, notice the 4th string is up here, so this C is up on the 5th fret, and so when I play C, D, E, I can play it 5th fret, open 2nd, I could play 3rd fret, 5th fret, and then open, and then we'll play the underlined notes and we'll play the major scale notes. So let's start with just that first track. E, D, C, C, D, E. Okay, now we'll play the major pentatonics. C, A, G, E, D, C, A, G, C. Now we'll play the whole major scale. So when you play stuff that doesn't sound good, don't worry about it. That's just your brain being trained, and you're going to learn either way. So when you play stuff that sounds awesome, your brain's recording it, and when you play stuff that's like, ooh, that's no good, your brain's recording it. So just trust it, trust the system. So that was just C major. Now we're going to play what's called the 1-5-1 progression, or C major, G major, C major. And C majors are made of the notes C, E, G, and G majors are G, B, D. So on that little 3-note scale, the C and E are going to sound really good over C major, and the D is going to sound good over the G major. And then when I go to the major pentatonic, the C, E, and G are all going to sound good over the C major, and the D and A are going to sound really good. I'm sorry, the D and G are going to sound really good over the G major. So let's just mess with that for a sec. First we'll do that 3-note scale. Now it's on the G. Playing that D over the G chord. Now we'll play the C major scale, or C major pentatonic. That was just E, D, C. Now we'll play the whole major scale. All right, so that was the 1-5-1 progression. That was the 1-5-1 progression. Now let's play a 1-4-5. So the F, A, and C are going to sound really good over the F major chord. So on that little 3-note scale, the C note's probably going to sound best on that 3-note scale when the F chord comes up. So let's get started on that one and see what that sounds like. So first the 3-note scale. Now it's on the F, on the G, F, G, now the major pentatonic. Now the whole major scale. So the goal today is not for you to play everything I'm playing. The goal is for you to find the jam tracks on my website, pause this fretboard on a different device so you can see what the layout is, and then see what it's like when you can see all the notes that are in the major key all up and down the fretboard. And if this is too easy for you, try some shapes up further up the neck and see if you can get way cooler sounds than I'm getting. So let's try a 1-5-4 progression. That's going to be C to the G to the F. And so we'll start with that 3-note scale. Now it's on the G, F. Oops, I hit an F note. Now let's try the major pentatonic. G, A to C. Now the whole major scale. Now messing around with the order of the major scale. All right, let's try a couple more here. This one's got a minor chord in it. It's got an A minor chord, so A, C, and E notes. And so that C and E is going to sound good over the C major, and it's going to sound good over the A minor on that 3-note scale. And then the C will sound really good over the F, and then the D will sound really good over the G. And then we use those other notes to just move around. So let's hear what that sounds like. So first the 3-note scale. It's on the A minor, F, G, now major pentatonic. A minor, oops, F, let's do the whole major scale. A minor, F, G, that's how I wanted to end it. So let's do one last one here just so you get the idea. And the goal is to just use this as a playground. I want you to just put on these jam tracks. They're free. If you pause this screen, you can get this this image for free too. And then just mess around and start seeing if you can link together some of those notes. See if you can find some little walking bass lines, like going from to that when it goes C to A minor. Try like here C. So that got me down to the A of the A minor, and then if I want to get up to this C for the F chord, now I'm on the C of the F chord, now I'm on the D of the G chord. So mess around like that and see if you can find some cool stuff that way. All right, this is the last one we'll do here. This is a 1, 6, 2, 5. So the only one we haven't seen is D minor, which is made of D, F, and A notes. So that D is going to sound good over the D minor chord on that little 3-note scale. So let's see how that sounds. So first the little 3-note. D minor, G, A minor, D minor. Okay, major pentatonic. Whole major scale. So that's the idea is I'm not obviously showing you how to play things perfectly, and we're just improvising. So we're just playing what you feel and moving around, and when you don't like the sound of something, just notice how you want to move. Like you'll just be like, we're playing a D minor, and if I'm playing the B note on the D minor, it's probably not going to sound as good right away. Maybe, and then but you can just move. Like if I'm on that D minor and the B doesn't sound as good, I can go down to that A real easy, or I could go walk up to this F as part of the D minor. So knowing those notes that make up the chords is really helpful. And then after a while, you don't think about it anymore. It's not like every time I'm playing, I'm thinking like, okay, there's the F of the D minor chord. You just build those kind of patterns up in your head. You build the patterns, and then the stuff comes a little more naturally. So again, the idea is I want you to just be able to play around, experiment. No matter how good your friend is, they're not going to play C, A minor, D minor, G for you for 2 hours while you work on improvising. So that's why I built these free jam tracks. And I've got those jam tracks in a whole bunch of different keys, and they all align with the chord progressions in Fretboard Toolbox books, and it tells you what pages to go to. And so I've got the keys of G and E minor and A and F sharp minor and C and A, D and B, E and C sharp minor, F and D minor. So those are all the major and relative minors, if you know what that means. And then I got blues tracks, and they're all played at different speeds. And if you want to be able to see all of those in all the different keys, you can check out Fretboard Toolboxes. And if you want to see what those look like, if you go to the Fretboard Toolbox website and you go to pick your instrument, I've got books set up just like this for all these different instruments. And so I've also got books that are called essential editions that are in full color, and but they're not, it's the main keys, the most common keys, so G, A, C, D, E, those 5 keys. And so you can read about those differences here. That's the most common question I get asked. You can check out my print versus ebook options. You can see all my mandolin videos, and if you click look inside on any of my books, you download all of the instructions and the key of G major pages for free, so you can mess around with it and see if it's something useful, and if it is, you can pick up a book, and if it's not, you're not out any money. So also be sure to poke around on some of these free tools. I've got all sorts of stuff on how to build chords and what chords sound good in keys, and practice, like how to practice 3 big ways to improve. I've got a free Google Sheets that'll track your practice time. All sorts of fun stuff to mess around with. So I appreciate you stopping by today, and I'll be back on more Fretboard Fridays with more videos on more of my favorite instruments.